you. As I told you, in the Chanukia can be only one shamash. Only you now.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom לחברים היקרים שלנו פה OR-HADASH. אני כל כך מאושר לחזור לקהילה הקדושה הזאת. באמת, שחזרנו הביתה. כל פעם ופעם שיש לשיר תקווה הראייה בארץ, אנחנו יודעים שאנו חייבים לבקר את OR-HADASH, הבית שלנו בחיפה. איך אנחנו עובדים את הקהילה הזאת? להיות כאן, להתפלל כאן, לשיר. רק תדעו לכם שאתם עושים את מצוות הכנסת אורחים באופן כל כך יפה. עכשיו ברשותכם אני מעדיף להמשיך באנגלית. בסדר? About our group from Shir Tikvah in Wayland, Massachusetts, which is outside of Boston. It is such a privilege and a pleasure for us to be back at OR-HADASH. This group of ours, there are 44 of us, kids, teens, parents, grandparents, coming together with me, with Rabbi Shatner, touring the country for the past 9 days, and it is such an awesome way to culminate our trip. It is a special privilege to be with Rabbi Perlin and the Heifer in Virginia to be able to share Shabbat together with our mutual friends here tonight. And I, for one, am so proud of the Shir Tikvah OR-HADASH connections that we've made over many, many years now. As we call you our sister congregation, and you call us to be here with Rabbi Neal Shai on this bima, to be with our old friends, Garry and Shai, who's done such a pleasure to host Garry and Shai at Shir Tikvah just about 2 months ago now. It was a bit of a Vorspeis of this Shabbat that we can share here together in ours. To see Rabbi Edgar back there, it's so awesome to see you and so lucky to be back together with you here in this place. And to all the members of this Kehillah Dosha, it was such a delight to share Shabbat together. I want to tell you one other thing about our group as well. 1 month ago, when the missiles were falling on southern and central Israel, and rabbis who had organized trips for this winter were saying, I wonder if these trips are still going to fly or not. I want to tell you about the Shir Tikvah community. I hope Rabbi Perlin has similar sort of anecdotes. You know, that thought crossed my mind. I wonder what's going to happen to our group. And I know members of our group, the families and children, had conversations with one another about, are we going to still be able to make this trip? A handful of the families who are here on this trip now called me. Before I called them, they called me and they said, we just wanted to know something. Nothing is going to stop us from coming to Israel. So here we are at this Shabbat, Parashat Vayechi, and there's something rather bittersweet to us too about this visit as well, because we know that tomorrow night, Motzei Shabbat, that most of our group is going to be flying back to Massachusetts. And so there's an element of the bittersweet as we realize that our adventure together is drawing to a close. There are bittersweet elements in Parashat Vayechi as well, because we hear now at the closing of the story of Joseph and of Jacob, we hear about the deaths of 2 of the great leaders of Sefer Bereshit, 2 of the founders of Am Yisrael, but also about 2 lovers of Eretz Yisrael. We read about the death of Yaakov Avinu, who made his children swear as he was dying. He said, "Al tikvareni b'Mitzrayim, don't bury me here in Egypt. Whatever you do, take my bones up from here and bury me in the place of my forefathers." And at the end of the book of Bereshit, in this week's parsha, we read about Yosef HaTzadik, Joseph the Tzaddik, said, "Hakod יפקוד אלוהיכם, אלוהיתם את עצמותיי מזה. When God takes note of you here in Mitzrayim, promise me that you're going to take my bones up from here and bury me in the land of Israel. And with that note, the book of Bereshit concludes with the thought of, even though we are chutz la'aretz, there are these connections that constantly bind us back home to the land of Israel. And I feel that sense of bittersweetness. We know that both of these promises were fulfilled. We know that Jacob was brought up and buried in Hebron, and Joseph was brought up a few generations later and buried in Shechem. By the way, neither of those places were on our itinerary on this trip. But these two original brothers of Israel planted seeds, I sense perhaps were harvested in subsequent generations, perhaps were harvested by us, our community, on this trip to Israel as well. And that is planting the seeds of an enduring and continuing love of the land of Israel and the people who dwell here and the people who make it great and who build it up with their own hands. I do feel that congregation OR-HADASH does that. I do feel that all the reformed Kehilot in this country are doing that work, the work of the Chalitzim, building a Israel that is based on pluralism, that is based on love, that's based on joy, that's based on kavod habriot, respect for all human beings and all people. And that's why it's such a privilege and a pleasure and an honor to be your partners and to be your sister congregation overseas. So I give thanks tonight for our enduring partnership together, our continuing commitment to one another, to strengthen our mutual communities, to continue to build up a joyful and honorable and loving and amazing Jewish life, and of course to build a peaceful future together for us, for all of the people of Israel, both here and outside of the land and everywhere, and indeed for all of our neighbors and for the entire world. And in that spirit, I think I'm moved to, since for me it's been a while since I've been back on this team. I know for many people in our community, they're either here for the first time or here returning after a long time. Is it bechavod b'shukam to join together in the words of the Shekhi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu